Dr. Mark Janghese here with your Science Moment. Today I'm going to talk about disinformation. Usually we're talking about misinformation, but some folks, ask, well, fine, Mark, you believe that misinformation is just part of the conversation of both science, because, most articles actually end up to be false, but that's the process of science, and that's the process of the generalization of science, which is just modern networks of humans, whether it's social media or beforehand, just discussing and having open, free expression, which slowly leads towards the truth. And misinformation is exactly part of that, because every time there's a debate, there are two sides. At most, one side or both are wrong. That's just the nature of things. But someone could say, okay, fine, misinformation is part of free expression. I'm willing to realize that, and then not call for censorship of my foes on the basis of misinformation. Of course, at this point, I'm not convinced anybody on the other side has actually gotten that point. But disinformation, Mark, these are people that are intentfully lying. Now, I think there's three kinds of arguments against the idea that you should be trying to censor disinformation. And the first is that it's a first order, at least in the kinds of things that happened over the last 2 years, when these kinds of mass hysterias, which are largely bottom up, they happen throughout society, both at the top levels and at the bottom levels. It's going throughout. Most of the people that are involved in saying false things believe what they're saying. Nearly everybody on the opposite side are saying what they believe. They really believe that COVID was a disproportionately dangerous, all of these things which are radically false. As I've been arguing, they believe what they say. Now, there are a few actors here and there, and everybody on my side, we certainly believe what we say. There are a few actors, Pfizer, and sometimes there are actively politicians who would even admit, well, I was basically doing a white lie because otherwise I'd be undermining, and fewer people would get vaccinated, or something like this. But even then, these were kind of white lies because they had drank the Kool-Aid. They really believed it. They were not just lying and making up stuff that was they didn't even believe. These were often white lies. So I think it's just relatively a red herring disinformation in most cases. Second, in cases where there really is active disinformation and cover-ups and things like this, well, or folks that are just sort of trolling, professional trolls, or just doing things to get things riled up, but there's various reasons to do disinformation. Disinformation, lying, is very hard, right? It is very hard. Misinformation is easy, because this is what we all end up doing. We all end up being wrong. Being wrong is part of life. You can have a wrong interpretation, but you're struggling to all find the truth, and you get it wrong. It's easy to get things wrong. Purposefully lying and keeping your lies all such that they're consistent with one another is really, really hard. In fact, someone just fell. I gotta go here, and someone just fell down over there. Let's see if they get up. Looks like they're well taken care of by two others with him, so I'm gonna let them stay there. So lying is very hard to do. People can't keep it up for long. And what happens when you're caught? When you're caught lying, unlike misinformation, where it turns out, I was wrong, you lose reputation. When you're caught lying, you lose everything. Your entire reputation is gone. You've been outed as a liar. No one's going to believe you anymore. The natural mechanisms of reputation networks, when functioning normally, are exactly what you need to get rid of liars, to get rid of disinformation. What you want to do is you want to leave it to the network to find and identify those liars, not use centralized fact checkers who say he or she is lying. No, you let the network find them. You let them crush their reputation once it's discovered. And the fourth reason, I guess there is a fourth reason, you don't want centralized fact checkers for the obvious reason, deciding that this person is a disinformer, is a liar, because what happens when the disinformation folks are the ones in charge of fact checking? Just think that through for even a moment, and you realize that is one of the worst ideas that you could possibly ever have. And that was your Science Moment.